So just because the S22 Ultra is here, it doesn't mean that these devices are just trash all of a sudden. Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So there's a ton of people out there who are not upgrading to the Galaxy S22 Ultra, and they're keeping their current flagship phones that they have. Now believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there. So just for fun, I started a discussion on my community tab and I said fight 13 Pro Max or S22 Ultra, and I knew the outcome of that poll would be people saying that the S22 Ultra is the better device and giving all these reasons as to why the iPhone can't compete and things like that. But the fact of the matter is, I know and you know that when a new device launches, people go crazy and they just think it's the best thing in the world until reality sets in and long-term use sets in and you get to see what the device is really about. Now, I'm holding the Pixel 6 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro Max is here. These are two tried and true phones up to this point, especially the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It has proven itself that it can do whatever. It's just a good phone and it's a well-seasoned, well-rounded package. Now, the Pixel 6 Pro had a rough start, but the fact is, this is still one of the best options for an Android device. I'm currently not having any issues with this device, and I'm on the latest security patch, and it has been all good since probably 3 months ago. How long I've had it, I only had a rough start at the first 3 weeks or so, and then after that, it has been all good. Now, Samsung has features on their devices, and it's always been like this, features and options. But I think a lot of people are really harping on what one person said about them giving things to Google giving things to Samsung devices instead of using it on their devices first. You got to really be a leader, folks. Don't follow everything everybody says, because the fact of the matter is there are tons of, this isn't something that's new. There are tons of things that come out on iOS before they even hit Google, and there are a ton of applications that work better on iOS than they do Android devices. This isn't something that's new. So don't get on the hype train too much. But the fact of the matter is the S22 Ultra will be a nice device, but we're not going to just write off the current flagship devices and their own. We just can't do that, especially the Pixel 6 Pro. It is silly to try to imply that the Pixel 6 Pro is just irrelevant now that the S22 Ultra is out. It's just silly. Now, Samsung does make the most beautiful displays. They obviously have great cameras. We don't know about battery life because battery life depends on you, the user. So all devices are going to give a different reading when it comes to battery life. But one thing I can say for sure is this iPhone 13 Pro Max is the battery king. I don't think anything's going to be able to beat this device in battery life. And, you know, aside from like the flagship devices, there's plenty of devices that are not flagship, so to speak, or high-end production devices that beat up on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, but they are very far and few between. I mean, very few. But there are devices that I have that are actually like the LG V60 slaughters the iPhone 13 Pro Max in battery life, and we can go on and on about other devices that do, but the iPhone offers more than just good battery life. I mean, we're talking about stellar cameras, beautiful hardware, great, and I wondered if the hardware on the S22 Ultra was going to be as good as the hardware on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And you know, I don't know yet. My unit is still being produced according to Samsung. It is still in production. It still says customizing your Galaxy S22 Ultra, and we are looking at March. So recording this video, we are still in February. So a couple more weeks or a few more weeks, and I will have my custom S22 Ultra in hand. But one thing, like I said, remains to be true is that both of these devices are devices that still compete with the S22 Ultra. I think it's naive of people and kind of strange for people to write them off so quickly just because the new S22 Ultra is here. That's just silly to me. Even writing off the Fold, you know, I said I was going to trade in my Fold 3 for the S22 Ultra, and I'm having second thoughts because I actually really enjoy the Galaxy Z Fold 3, and I put up a poll on that, or I put a statement out there, and you guys said, Jay, you should just keep them both. And, you know, obviously I can do that, but I personally know that when the Z Fold 4 comes out, if there is such a thing, the next folding device from Samsung, I'm probably going to buy both versions of it. So, you know, that's what it is. So for me, I keep the hype train going, not because I'm, for any reason that you might assume, like, oh, he doesn't have the money. That's irrelevant, because obviously I have the money. I'm buying all these devices at full cost. YouTube is lucrative for me, so I just keep shuffling the same money. And that is the attitude that I have about purchasing devices for YouTube. I'm going to put back in the money that I get from YouTube and continue to buy the latest devices, because some devices do end up staying for quite some time if I really, really enjoy them and like them. And to be honest, folks, the Z Fold 3 is one of them. It's by my bedside. I've been using it. So, but yeah, these two devices right here, I don't anticipate the Pixel 6 Pro being around long. I'll probably trade this in or sell it off or something like that, because I do have a Pixel 6 as well. So that's the thing. Now, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, ooh, this is such a good device, man. I don't know if I would give this up even when the new iPhone comes out. They're going to have to be offering me a really nice, pretty penny in order for me to get rid of this device, because this is the best offering from Apple right now. The 13 and the 13 Pro, just the entire 13 lineup, to me, is Apple's best iPhone to date. And this is a lot, because it means that they're actually improving on their products. Now, yes, the design is the same, ultimately. But, folks, this is one of the most powerful devices I've ever used. Again, battery life is stupendous. Cameras, a lot of the footage that you see on the channel is being recorded. What used to be recorded with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I'm back to using one of my prime lenses. I felt like, I want to get a little bit of consistency and show the phones more. But when I am using a phone, I always tell you, and I think that's the transparency I have here, because smartphoneconversations.com, that's the plug. Check it out. You can see the latest post. But I'm not going to sit on camera and just write off the iPhone 13 Pro Max and say that it only offers good battery to the smartphone world. That's just not true, because if that were the case, there wouldn't be so many iPhones out there, especially this model. The 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max, I think, did very well for Apple this year, especially the 13 Pro Max, because of the killer battery, killer cameras, and just the overall functionality of this device. It's just what it is. It has proven itself to be great. The screen is beautiful. The speakers are great. There's so much to like. And the hardware, folks, is top notch on this. As I shine up that stainless steel on the side, this is top notch, folks. The hardware on the Pixel 6 Pro, it's not as good as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, by a long shot, if I'm being honest, but it's really good. It feels great. It looks good. It definitely looks really, really good. It feels good in the hand. There's a lot going on with the Pixel 6 Pro that I love, but if I'm just comparing hardware, the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max definitely gets that for sure. The Pixel sides are not that appealing. It would have been nice to have matte sides all the way around, and that's why I went with a custom S22 Ultra, because for that reason. Let me see if we can get that dummy unit. All right, dummy unit in hand. So the current models of the S22 Ultra apparently have shiny sides, and that's not something that I'm highly a fan of. I don't even like it on the iPhones. I would rather have a matte side, and I think the custom units have a matte side, and they also have the same color S Pen as the device, and that's something that's going to be desired by a lot of people, because currently all the current 4 models, the burgundy, the white, the black, and the green, they don't have a matching S Pen. And something as simple as that, I've learned that means a lot to people. But I would prefer a matte sides on the device with the frosted back. And I believe that is the way the custom units are going to be. According to all the pictures and what Samsung has shown so far, that is what they're going to be. I'm not going to write off the iPhone 13 Pro Max and the Pixel 6 Pro. And these are just two phones. My Z Fold 3 is in the other room, but I'm not going to write off the current devices. I think we see this trend all the time, that when something new comes out, we immediately drop everything that's on the market already and start to say that it's null and void. When in reality, though, the iPhone 13 Pro Max can probably still beat Samsung in some areas as a neutral player in the game. I'm not pro Apple. I'm not pro Samsung. I may be team Pixel, but I'm pro Apple in other areas. But for the phones, I try to keep a very neutral stance no matter what I say, even though Team Pixel is here. The phone doesn't get a pass. I bought the Pixel 6. I enjoy it. I think I really like the Pixel 6 a heck of a lot better than the Pixel 6 Pro, just based on the size of it. But, for what the Pixel 6 Pro started off at, with all the troubles, and then the Pixel 6 joined in, having software problems, it's not a good start. But we all know it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I think right now, with this phone now up to date, everything's working on the Pixel 6 Pro, no problems whatsoever. It's just been a phenomenal device, and I don't think anyone can deny it of that. So just because the S22 Ultra is here, it doesn't mean that these devices are just trash all of a sudden, especially the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This phone has proven to be one of the best on the market. And remember, I'm not even like pro Apple on their phones. I genuinely have an iPhone just because of the reasons that most of you might carry an iPhone who prefer Android. Family. A lot of your family members use iMessenger and FaceTime, so boom. And if you don't know, folks, now you don't even need to have an iPhone to do this. You can FaceTime with people and iMessage with people on Android, especially the FaceTime. You just create a link through FaceTime, and anyone can open that link on Android or a computer or whatever, and they'll be on a FaceTime call over LTE, 5G, Wi-Fi, whatever. It works. I don't know if you guys knew that, but FaceTiming now doesn't matter. So that's one thing. Now, once iMessenger gets fully integrated and, the RCS can handle they can talk to each other. That is, I think why would Apple Apple doesn't need to do that. There's no reason for them to do that. But, I think all the software and stuff that Google gives to Apple first, you would think Apple would want to play nice a little bit, but hey, if they don't, whatever. I still say that the S22 Ultra has to prove itself. There's a lot of people out there that have had the device for probably one day, and they're already saying that it's better than everything out there. I don't take that serious. As far as usage goes, you have to give a device a chance because we don't know what's going to happen. Now, what will happen if the S22 Ultra start to get plagued by a whole bunch of things that in Android, like the Pixel 6 went through? What would happen if that happened to that? People would freak out. And I think a lot of people will make excuses, though. That's what I think. I don't think they're going to attack Samsung or Apple like Google got attacked, if I'm being honest. I don't think that will happen. But the fact remains, the S22 Ultra is here. I got a surprise for you, too, with the S22 lineup. Stay tuned for that. But the S22 Ultra mine is coming. A lot of you guys have yours already. A lot of people went for that burgundy. Not really feeling the burgundy. It's a great looking color, but I was willing to wait. And, I'm gotten a little impatient at some point, but it's just a phone. So I have a slew of other phones to talk about and discuss until my S22 Ultra gets here, because I know that once that S22 Ultra gets here and those custom colors start to show up at consumers' doors, people will probably have some regrets. But nonetheless, it's me and Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. The iPhone 13 Pro Max is very much relevant. And even if they don't make an iPhone 14 or whatever, this phone is still fantastic and competes and even destroys a lot of phones out there. And then the same thing with the Pixel 6 Pro. There's some leaks about the Pixel 6 or Pixel 7 Pro looking exactly like this device right here. Who cares? All companies do it all the time. This one right here has been pretty much looking the same the entire life of itself in the recent years. They don't change much. And even Samsung is not really changing much on this phone. It's funny that people say, I don't like the camera module on the S22 Ultra. I personally love this camera module setup because it removes the ugly square that goes around to separate it. I mean, why wouldn't you want to have a more uniform look? Why wouldn't you want to have just the camera module showing? That's just me. I don't know. And see, it proves that S22 Ultra can survive a drop. Yeah. Now, seriously though, I'll see you guys in the next video. What do you think about, how the S22 Ultra, you think people are going to actually keep their S22 Ultra? Here's what I say. People who had the S line, like if they had the Note 8 or they're coming from like an older Galaxy device, they're going to keep their device. Everybody else who pretty much just buys every year, I don't anticipate them keeping it. I think they're just going to sell it off or return it or trade it or whatever and move to the next, which is nothing wrong with that. But I think the people who keep the devices for a long time and then they buy the S22 Ultra, as long as they don't have any problems, they'll probably keep the device and it'll be good for them for another 2 to 5 years. I saw somebody who hadn't upgraded in 5 years. I thought that was pretty impressive. And he has the Ultra now, and I think he'll probably keep the S22 Ultra for another 5 years because remember, consumers out there, most consumers don't switch their devices out like that. They keep their devices until they break and so on, or they just feel like they want something new. So How do you feel about, people kind of writing off the current flagships? Like the 13 Pro Max is no good anymore. The Ultra is here. It's the best phone in the world. The Pixel 6 Pro was never good and blah, blah, blah. What do you think about that? It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed the discussion, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.